Welcome to the Fans Ed Sports Show. Talk about the X's and O's. Talk and break down for the success of each team.
Slow your roll.
Whether he has something to do with it or not, we are adding that to the clock.
No team gonna freaking run the ball like that. That's challenging your manhood.
Not too much.
People still remember that.
So look, I don't need to hear anything from you, Mike.
It's been a crazy week for college football.
They value seniority.
When they're looking at the schedule, that's a tough schedule. Go beat everyone.
You already know.
Let's go.
You already know.
Welcome to the Fans Edge. What's going on, everybody? Right here where we talk college football. I got my guy, Terry from College Football Stop right here with me. What's going on, Terry?
Nothing much, man. What's up with you? How's your day going?
Man, chilling, man. Hey, our guy Ryan cooked us up a new graphic, man. Hope everybody like it,
crazy.
man. Yeah.
Ryan went crazy.
We out here, man. We outside. We got, maybe not too much to talk about, but a lot to talk about as well.
Come on, man. It's football season. It's a lot to talk about.
But before we get into it, man, I need everybody to go ahead, hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure that you sharing the video if you watch it on Twitter or even if you watch it on YouTube. Share the video. Anybody you know that like to talk about college football, like to tap in, let us know. And also put your stuff in the comments, man. We want to hear from y'all so that y'all can join the discussion, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button. So, Terry, I think that is kind of funny, man. Right after that team up north, go ahead, take their L. A couple things happened up there, off the field. And 4 former team up north players is now suing the NCAA and the Big Ten for up to around like $50 million. And Denard Robinson and Braylon Edwards is a part of this. Terry, my question to you. Why now?
I mean, the timing has to mean something, right? Like, and it makes you wonder if maybe they're trying to take revenge on the NCAA because of what's coming down the pipeline. Because there's something coming, Mike. That NOA being administered to Michigan and nothing coming out about what's on it is not a coincidence.
Right. I think you're right. It's definitely something that's going on. You coming out with that. And then here's another thing. We've been talking. Sherrone Moore been going ahead, coaching, doing all of this on his assistant contract. Now he finally signs his full contract as the head coach. Now, I want to ask you this because I think that the timing's funny for this because it was all in the headlines. Now you come out with it. Now, we discussed, hey, the agent is probably, trying to make sure that he's taking care of Sherrone Moore, and that way, if anything happens from the NCAA, he's still taken care of on the back half, right? Or they still keep him as a coach and he just sits that year out suspended. Well, or you could take it as his agent wasn't able to work that stuff out because of the way he lost to Texas. And it's like, hey, this is what we're giving you. Take it or leave it because we'll go with an interim coach and go find your replacement.
I mean, I think it has to be the second thing, right? Like, they lost to Texas, and I think at that point he probably lost some leverage. They're like, look, we look bad. I mean, I'm sure the AD and all of them just came to him like, look, this is not continued success like we hoped it would be when you took over. So you needed, we need to go on and get this contract going. Now, I did have another theory, Mike, that maybe the fact that Sherrone Moore has completed his contract now might mean that Michigan has reached a settlement with the NCAA. What do you think about that? Because I think if they reach a settlement, and then so they'll know like what the punishment is going to be for Sherrone Moore himself, but whatever it is, they know what it is now. So now, however the verbiage is in that contract, that everyone involved knows how it's going to impact everyone else. So.
Yeah, and that's why I think all of this is coming from the NOA all this is coming because of the whole investigation. I really just believe that these guys probably wouldn't be suing the NCAA if there was no investigation. I just don't think that they would be. You had all off season, all the whole time. Even when Harbaugh was going through all of this stuff with the Big Ten and got suspended, why didn't you do it then? Like you had all of this time to do it. You could have been leading the charge, but I don't know.
And especially when it's like NIL related, right? Because NIL has been a thing for multiple years now. That didn't just happen. So all this stuff with Michigan just happened, but NIL, they had a couple years where they could have already tried to make this lawsuit or whatever happen. So the timing of it has to be because of the NOA that Michigan has.
For sure, man. So last week, we got the title of the space, man, and everybody, need to know, man. Playoff dreams turned into nightmares. Is that what happened for Notre Dame and that team up north? Or is there a path for them to still make it? I mean, looking at what their team is right now, is there a path for this team right now, what they're made of, to actually make it to the 12-team playoff?
Yeah, so looking at Notre Dame, I think there's definitely still a path, right? They lost one game. They still have a very weak schedule going forward. They only have like one or two games where are losable in theory. I mean, I guess they lost to NIU, which I don't know if you watched the thing I sent you right before we started here, but I thought it was really cool that NIU's head coach actually reached out to Marcus Freeman and was like, hey, man, if you want to, I can talk to you about kind of the things that we saw that we could expose on your team to beat you. Right. And I guess Marcus Freeman actually is going to take that advice, which I think is super cool. That's just a side nugget on what we're talking about, though. But I do think Notre Dame could still make the playoffs, man. They kind of have like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde so far this season because they started off the first game. They looked pretty good. The second game, obviously, that was terrible. So I don't know, man. What do you think about Notre Dame?
Notre Dame, I think that they're done for. You're talking about an 11-1 team, and let's put it like this: would you put an 11-1 Notre Dame team in over a 10-2 Ole Miss team?
I mean, I wouldn't, because I think they need to be punished for not joining a conference. But I think that the brand, they would get in that situation.
I don't think so, man. My whole thing is you cannot tell me with Ole Miss going through the SEC, like that's right there where the Big Ten and the SEC is like, no, we need to break up from this because this is BS. You went through a little BS schedule with your little ACC. The Big Ten already said they don't respect it. They told the two top dogs in the ACC, no, you're not joining either one of these conferences. So why would the Big Ten respect that? And I'm telling you, I think that they want to make the Big Ten and the SEC as happy as possible. I just can't see you doing that. You went 11-1, and then you lost. Like how? What would be the better? Who had a better loss again?
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, though, there's going to be money involved. You know what I mean? Like Notre Dame. I don't know. I think Notre Dame's hopes are still alive for that reason. Plus, their schedule is so terrible. I mean, they could win out every game and actually look good in theory. But if you're talking about the way that they looked this past weekend, and if you just translate that to the rest of the season, they're not making the playoffs, dude. They'll lose at least a couple more games. So
all right. I gotta shout out my guy Johnny. He said, "Who made that shit? You ain't right." Well, the GOAT made it, man. I'll put it back on the screen. The GOAT made it. Shout out Ryan James, man. Hey, that is the GOAT right there. Put the team on his back, man. But yeah, I flashed that for you a couple times throughout the show for you, Johnny. Appreciate you, man.
Johnny been having me cracking up in the chat, man.
Hey, man. Also, make sure that y'all, Johnny has been pulling up to the best damn pregame show every Saturday morning at, what's that, Terry, 9 o'clock?
I think they start at 10 Eastern.
10 Eastern. Make sure y'all pull up to that, bro, because I think it's not. Oh, that's why I said 9. It's 9 my time. All right.
Johnny was just on there this weekend talking crazy about Michigan's defense.
Wasn't he? See, yeah. So
Yeah,
y'all can catch Johnny there. Catch Ron James. Catch Chris Drew. They'll be over there on Minutes to Sports. You still got us every Wednesday, and you got Ron and Q and Pat with Buckeye Roast Monday through Friday. So make sure y'all checking those out for sure.
Yeah, you forgot the flagship, man. Buckeye BS on Sundays.
Buckeye BS, man. Well, it's been me and Ron lately, so
hey, but
I can't say that I can't say all the guys will be there. So it's just been me and Ron been hanging out, man. But let's go ahead and we talked about Notre Dame. The team up north. I'll go ahead and say this. The team up north, are their playoff dreams gone? I felt their playoff dreams was gone with the coaching staff leaving, the roster turnover. Mm-hmm. I thought going into the season, now their fans did not believe that, but I thought that their playoff dreams were done well before the season even started. I think the way that they lost to Texas confirmed it for a lot of their fans, as we have saw in the group chats that we have been in, and they not talking the same way before that game happened. So I think that they are realizing it. I remember even after the first game, I'm not going to say his name. I don't want to call him out. I remember him posted in the group and said, we're probably going 8-4, 9-3. And he just bounced. And I'm like, that's where I picked y'all preseason. Like I stood on that. I said they're an 8-4, 9-3 team.
And people called me crazy for saying they had 6 losable games on their schedule. And I think that if you look down that schedule now, most people would probably agree with that. I'm not saying they're going to lose 6 games. They're not going to lose all 6 of them. But if you got 6 losable games and you lose 3 or 4 of those, that's not a good season. And to me, that's where they're at, dude. I don't think like the little bit of hope that I see from Michigan fans on the timeline that Jack Tuttle was going to come back and be their saving grace is one of the most funny things I've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't think that they got that faith in Jack Tuttle like that. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that we have realized that we should stop taking their takes for the rest of the season. So another one, obviously, Florida State, they're completely out of it. Do you see a way that Florida State could even make it back in?
Nah, they're done, man. Oh, sorry about that.
What if they beat Miami?
I mean, if they the only way would be they win the ACC, right? Like they could get in that way, but dude, it's not happening. If you look at that team is a mess. And then the video came out. Did you see the video on Twitter? We should have pulled it where DJU was throwing and there was some guy was chasing a kid, in a uniform with a water gun. Did you see? Oh, Mike, I'll show it to you after the show, dude.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll see it. They literally playing with water guns during practice.
Oh, I did see that.
Yeah.
I did that. He was chasing them in the background.
Yeah, it's a mess down there, man.
I did see that video. That's crazy, man. When I saw, honestly, I didn't even pay that much attention to it. And then when I just saw like someone chasing somebody with like the water gun, I said, I'm not even about to look at that again. Like, what the hell is that?
You can miss it if you don't pay attention. But if you watch it, it's hilarious. And you got DJU standing there trying to take a real rep, like a real rep of practice. Oh, man, that's just a mess. I don't know what to say, man.
Hey, I'm just glad that people decided to go there. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, if that's what you want to go to, then I know the type of football decision that you made, bro.
Yeah.
So,
all right, real quick, Mike. So I added this in the show notes. I didn't even tell you. We were talking about like playoff dreams, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a little off subject, but kind of staying on the dream subject. My question for you is, what is your dream playoff matchup? Obviously, we're Ohio State fans. We got the gear on. Mm-hmm. What is your dream matchup? And I guess what I'm looking for is maybe a team that we haven't seen in the playoffs already. Like, don't give me a Georgia. We already seen them. But outside of the teams that we've played recently, who would you want to play?
I want to see Miami. I want the U.
That's the best answer.
Yeah, big homie. I'm calling you out. Yeah, I want you. Yeah, G-Mo. I want all of y'all. I want all the smoke. I want Miami. And I'm going to tell you why, right? We've been going head to head in these like battles with them. And I want to go ahead and beat them by 3 touchdowns and let them know who the real dogs is, bro. You can go ahead, beat up on that little schedule in the ACC. Y'all think that y'all got something over there. But what I want to do is go ahead, show the Miami Big Ten smash mouth football or whatever, because we seen what Rutgers did to them in the trenches. So, yeah, I know what my team could do to them in the trenches. So I really want to line it up. And here's the beautiful thing. If you thought we was coming to take your recruits before, boy, just wait till we come and we beat the hell out y'all in the CFP. You talking about, you might as well just go ahead and open up a corporate office for Ohio State down there in South Florida, man. You know, we sitting real comfortable.
Yep. And look, I see one in the chat that I think will be a little interesting too, because honestly, I think you got the right answer. I wasn't sure there was a right or wrong answer, but you got the right answer. But Stu in the chat says they want to get back at Oklahoma. And I think that would be an interesting matchup, but I don't think that they're any good, right? I mean, that's another team that I just don't really see making any noise anytime soon. So.
You talking about for Ohio State?
Yeah.
Oklahoma? I mean, we went 1-1 in them in the series, but I just feel like it's not going to be that type of game like we think it's going to be, man. Like, I'm not, I wouldn't get as hyped about Oklahoma like I would before. Like, and to be honest, like, this is the thing. Let's say this. Would you be a little bit more optimistic about Oklahoma if they were still in the Big 12 versus the SEC?
No. No, I honestly wouldn't. No.
I should have asked you this before games were played, because now that you done seen the quarterback, it's like, man. Nah.
I'm not. Yeah, I just ever since Lincoln Riley left there, man, they've been a mess. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, and ain't enough snow. Ain't enough snow in Oklahoma for Brad Venables' nose. I'm just gonna say.
Oh man.
All right, man. So I didn't really like these matchups going into here. So what I wanted to do was talk to you about the AP top 25 rankings, man. And you got Georgia still sitting firm at number 1, and Texas moves up to number 2, and Ohio State drops a spot, even though they had a blowout win, to number 3. But they did get 5 first place votes. Texas got 4 first place votes, and Georgia got 54 first place votes. What do you think about those? And then I'll give my opinion.
I mean, we talked about whether we, I think me and you did, whether we thought Texas was going to jump Ohio State. No, we didn't talk. We haven't talked since the games. Must have been somebody else. My bad, brother. But anyway, I didn't think that Texas was going to jump Ohio State after the games were played this weekend, just because Ohio State looked dominant and honestly still looks like the best or one of the best teams in college football. But I'm not mad about it, dude. I don't really care about the AP poll. You know what I mean? Like, drop us down a couple more, put us at like 5th or 6th. It doesn't matter. But I mean, in terms of like the changes, I mean, they didn't really make too many changes, did they? From what it was the week before, other than that?
Well, I would say you got Tennessee moved up 7 spots, which I think was huge. I think that they should have moved up.
They look good.
Yeah, some people believed, some people felt Penn State should still be ahead of Tennessee, but after what I saw with Penn State and Bowling Green, I can't co-sign that. So I believe that they should be ahead. Alabama, I'm shocked that they're still sitting at 4. I think that there's still a little bit of bias in there. I think that you could have moved some teams up. And here's the thing. Ohio State's going into this bye week, and we're not playing. And I really hope that we continue to slide in the rankings, because I'm going to tell you this. I am not upset. And I was telling people about this. Everybody wants their team to come hitting on all cylinders right out the gate, and I'm not that person. What I want is a build-up. Build up to it. Build up to that Oregon game, and then show me. And then still be able to work out the kinks and things. And then when that last game of the season come out, go crazy, go nuclear. Like, I want us to be playing our best football at the end of the season. And Obviously it's good when you can say, hey, we won. It wasn't as clean as we wanted to. And that's why you saw the team go ahead and play a better game. And I just want to see them go ahead. Ryan Day said it's improvement week. I think they're going to work on those penalties, work on them holding calls, things like that, because you see the potential. So
yeah, and I agree with that point, man. You, in terms of getting better throughout the season, it's almost been a trend with Ryan Day teams to kind of do the opposite, which I hate that. I don't know if it's injuries. I don't know what it is. I don't think we'll have that issue this year, though, because they're doing the one thing that we always talk about, and they're just playing everybody. Everybody's getting snaps. Everybody's making plays. So that was it. Just wanted to add that little bit on to the end because, you were talking about getting better throughout the year, which I want to see that with this team, because if they do, it's natty season.
So Oregon go ahead and drop 2 spots, from 7 to 9. Do you think that that's warranted where you're putting Penn State, Tennessee, Missouri, and Ole Miss above them?
I do, man. Oregon's looked bad in both of the games that they've played this year. And I watched the entire Boise State game, and honestly, they don't look like a top, 4 or 5 team. They just don't. And I know they have the talent over there, so obviously that's going to keep their ranking up. And if they start to win games in a more convincing fashion, then you will start to see them climb up the ranks, which they should at that point. But so far, right now, Oregon looks terrible. And honestly, I wouldn't even hate if they dropped a couple more spots because of how they played so far.
Well, that's what I was going to get into. I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm looking at Miami at 2-0, 2 good, impressive wins. If I'm sitting here and I'm the committee and I'm looking at eye test tells me Miami's a better football team than Oregon right now. Yep. If I'm going by eye test or just film, I'm sitting here telling you USC's a better team than Oregon right now. Yep. Because I would say if we took USC out of that LSU game and put Oregon in there, LSU might come out with that dub. So
I think they definitely would have. Oregon was terrible, dude.
I mean, I can't understand why you can feel the need to to push Tennessee up 7 spots, but only want to drop Oregon down just 2. And they going into their rivalry game. I really don't look at this as like a big game because it's a program that's under a rebuild, losing their head coach and stuff. But Terry, there's some other people that think differently going into this game.
Hey, they're on fraud watch all the time until they do something to say that they shouldn't be. If they go out here and win this game by, even if they win it by like 17, 14, that's cool. Mm-hmm. I don't know what the spread is, but if they go out there and win it by 2 scores, that's fine, cool. And not look terrible, not 2 scores where you score a touchdown late and that puts you up 2 scores. You know what I mean? I need to see them go out there and look like the team that everyone projected them to be this year. And until they do, they're on fraud watch every single week, because I guarantee you they have teams on their schedule that would beat the first 2 teams that they played this year, and they really struggled with both of them. So,
Oregon State went and played San Diego State, and let's just say they 21 skunked them. Literally, it was 21-0. So
that's an interesting score, honestly.
And then the game before that, they won 38-15. So they're taking care of the business that they're supposed to. Now, a lot of people have been, I'm not going to say a lot of people. There's some Oregon fans that is believing of Dan Lanning is not wanting to show much. That's why they're not doing much. They just feel like they can get out the games because of their talent. They're not taking that many down the field shots because they just feel like they can win with their talent. But my whole thing with that is in your last game, Boise State's offense outscored your offense. And if it wasn't for the special teams, you'd be ass out.
Well, here's the problem with that too, Mike, is all right, so we're playing vanilla. We're not going to do too much crazy stuff. We're going to sub people in and out. because our talent will be able to win out in the end. Their talent barely was able to win out in the end. So, I mean, obviously your talent is not what you think it is if you think you can just put them out there, because that Boise State game was a game. That was a football game. That was not we let them catch back up late in the game, nothing like that. Like Oregon honestly was saved by having 2 special teams touchdowns where for whatever reason Boise State just had their slowest players all over the field on special teams. And now, don't get me wrong, the Oregon players, they're dynamic. Tez Johnson and I forget the other guy's name that scored on the punt returns and kick return. But Boise State's players, it looked like they had 12 kickers out there. I don't know what was going on. But I don't know, man. They got saved by those 2 special teams touchdowns. Obviously, your talent is not the level that you think it is, where you can just be vanilla and beat these teams. And if they keep doing that, they're going to get caught up, which I don't think they're doing that anyway. I just think this is who they are, and they can gel and become better. I genuinely still think they could be a dangerous team as the year goes on. But Oregon, like I said last week, they have to do something to show me that they deserve that kind of credit.
All right. I think this is funny to me because it looks like Vegas is out here trying to really get their money. So it opened as Oregon Ducks 14-point favorite. Now they're 16-point favorite.
So Oregon's getting better. Hey, they better go out and take care of business. That's what I said. 2 scores is fine. Even if they win this game by 13, I'm gonna be like, look, good win, man. Y'all are starting to look a little bit better. And obviously we got to see how they look on the field too, because it's just everything's just looked out of whack for them. Listen, if they get too far into the schedule without fixing that and get into these Big Ten games, they're going to get caught. They're going to get caught by somebody. And I mean, if they look like that against Ohio State, they're going to get blown out in front of their own fans. So I don't know, man.
Say not in front of that.
You can say it.
They ain't ready. All right. Well, another one of our games that, LSU at South Carolina. I think that these are 2 teams that have, obviously we watched LSU struggle a bit. South Carolina, they don't look too hot to me. What do you think about this game? Because LSU, if they lose this game, they could be starting off as 1-2. And you're talking about Brian Kelly probably being on the hot seat.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Mike, it could happen, right? Like LSU, they don't look like this dominant team that people expected, or some. I mean, me, I guess I say people, but I mean me. I was the one who was hyping them up before the season, and I thought they were going to look better, but they don't. And South Carolina, they got some playmakers down there, man. They can, they've recruited South Carolina very well. First off, that whole area, they've recruited that really well. And I don't know, if I had to pick this game right now, I think I would pick South Carolina to win. You know what the spread is on this?
Yeah, it's at it's like a touchdown almost. What? Yeah.
I think LSU's frauds, man.
I mean, they honestly could be. Nussmeier, who they was counting on, I don't think that he's really the guy, but I mean, he could get better. I'm never going to sit here and say a player can't get better. So,
he's first-year starter too. And
then they lost a lot of their, weapons. They lost, the best wide receiver. They lost, their Heisman winning quarterback. They lost a lot. So. I mean, this is one of those teams where, they could just hit their stride. And that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't want to peak too early. And also, this lights a fire under the team. Now they know where they stand in college football. Now we can't lay down. We can't lose a game. We have to take everything serious. And we've seen teams who lost earlier. They get that one loss, and then they end their postseason, and they're not the team that you want to face. So, and then let's see. Let's talk about it. Alabama struggled with USF and then blew the doors off of them. Here's what I say about this, and because they go to Wisconsin, and I'm going to pick Alabama to win this game. I think Wisconsin has struggles of their own, and a lot of people want to criticize Bama. I think Bama. Here's the difference with Bama. Bama was going vanilla to me, I believe. And whenever they didn't need to go vanilla and blow the doors off of them, that's what happened. And that's the difference in what we were talking about Oregon and that team up north. Like, you know, you can go vanilla, but you haven't showed us that you could turn it on and just run away with the game like you're supposed to and treat the inferior opponent like they're inferior. And we got to see Bama do that last week. Now, I don't think they're going to sleep on a P4 team in Wisconsin being on the road. Just go ahead and give me Bama in this game. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I would take Bama too because Wisconsin just doesn't look good. I mean, obviously they went to a 4-quarter game with the team that Ohio State just played their third stringers and was still scoring touchdowns. Right. You know what I mean? So I would like to see this be a really good game, right? Especially for the sake of like the weekend of college football, for this game to come down to the wire. Maybe it'd be a funky game because they're in Wisconsin. They slow the game down. But I don't think that's going to happen. That's the problem. I just think like Alabama struggled this past weekend, but they were playing what, UCF, right? Was it UCF they just played this weekend?
USF.
I'm sorry. So they were playing USF. It's a Florida team. They're at least going to have speed on their team, right? Wisconsin may not have that. So Alabama could run away with this game just on like athletes and kind of speed in general. So I'm taking Alabama, but I'm hoping that this game will turn out to be better than what I expect it to be.
I feel you, man. Well, I want to go ahead and cap this off with some Buckeye talk, man. Right. Ryan Day and Jim Knowles had their press conference. We got to hear a little bit about, CJ Hicks. And this defense has been lights out, right? People can say, oh, you're playing the worst of the MAC teams. Oh, this is who you're playing. It is what it is. But we've seen where our team has not taken care of business against the teams that they're supposed to take care of business on the defensive side of the ball. And also, regardless, it's still hard to get perfection out of these young kids, bro. And not only are they stopping teams from getting touchdowns, they stopping teams from getting in the red zone.
Talk to me we have about that defense. Had no teams getting into the red zone this year. That's an awesome stat for the first 2 games. And honestly, the only thing that I can say about the defense, like if I'm looking for one thing to nitpick, is just we didn't have any turnovers in this most recent game. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know if it really matters if you give up 0 points. Like you can, they also were going like 3 and out almost every single time. So I don't know, man. This defense is dominant, and I do want to talk to you. You kind of briefly went past the CJ Hicks stuff. Can we talk about that? Can we talk about what they said in the press conference?
For sure.
Okay, so when I originally saw the quotes all over, I'm like, dang, they're giving up on him. That's unfortunate. That's what I was thinking. But like, I went back and watched them myself. And honestly, I don't think that was what Ryan Day or Jim Knowles was really saying. Like they kind of were adamant on the fact that CJ Hicks is not moving to like a rush end or whatever that everybody wants him to be. Which, if you look at the current roster, it makes sense. Like, was he going to go over there and be like the defensive end 6, defensive end 5? And I know you can do different things with them, but they've already proven to us and shown to us that they're not doing any kind of special package or anything like that. And that's the jack. They're not doing that. But to me, what it sounded like from Ryan Day and Jim Knowles was that both of them still have a lot of confidence in CJ Hicks to become a good linebacker. I think our fan base has lost confidence in him completely because honestly, he's looked really bad. There's no way to spin it. Like he's looked really bad. And to me, it just looks like he's not confident. Like, right. I've seen him when he's coming downhill, come up and hit people really hard, wrap up in tackling. And then it seems like whenever he has to think, all that goes out the window. He just ends up like diving at someone's feet. And everybody clips it up and puts it on Twitter and like, oh, CJ Hicks sucks. So
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't think that he sucks. I just think that they need to give him a little more time. He's really getting his first like real game reps that people are watching right now as a junior. And there's no way to defend what he's put on film so far as like it being good or bad. But I am curious that as we get further into this season and maybe stop being so vanilla even on defense, and we were just talking about that. Other teams are being vanilla, but Ohio State's not. We are, we've been vanilla on defense too. And sometimes Jim Knowles likes to get blitz happy. And I'm almost wondering if they say that they still need him to be at linebacker, because when it comes down to it and they get in a game where the best strategy is to blitz those linebackers more often, if maybe you'll see his reps increase at that time. Maybe that's wishful thinking. I mean, like I said, you gotta take advantage of the reps when you do get them, right? Like once you get on the field, you can't go out there and look bad, because it's already happened this year. He went out there and looked bad. Arvell Reese went out there and every single rep he's had, he's out there making plays. So
yeah, and this is what CJ Hicks going into his third year, and what he could possibly get fit 5 years. And here's my thing with CJ Hicks is, do y'all remember when Cody Simon was first out there playing linebacker, and he didn't look good at all? He looked like he, was running in mud, and he wasn't playing confident in himself. And I think that could possibly be like, we know the talent is there for CJ Hicks. We know that. But for some guys, it don't click right away for them. It just don't. We seen it in I remember Steve Miller. He was an old guy. Gets an interception in the CFP game. This is last year, right?
Yep.
You talking about Curtis Grant. He was Zach Smith raves about him in the speeches that he was giving.
Cody Simon.
Bruh. I mean,
Cody Simon is old. This is his 5th year?
This is what are we saying, bruh? So sometimes it just don't always click like that. Would we love it to? Yes. But I'm not about to write the kid off because he's not done. Mm-hmm. Also, it could not be his strength. We could see him go to the league and be the next Baron Browning. We don't know. People tried to tell me that Baron Browning sucked. People tried to tell me Baron Browning sucked. Right? So those are the type of issues, that you could deal with. And it's just crazy because you see the young talent like the Arvell Reese, and he's just catching on faster. So a lot of people are like, hey, or we thought that it could have been a coaching issue. Well, obviously it can't be a coaching issue because all the other guys are picking it up and CJ Hicks isn't. So
I agree, man. And we'll see how the rest of the season plays out. Like I said, if they can put him in some positions where he can actually get after the quarterback a little bit, or even play coverage. Like, I haven't really seen him mess up in coverage. It's more so just that read and react on run plays, or like run plays and like stuff to the flats. We've seen a couple things where he's just screens. He's a little bit late on those things. So we'll see how the season plays out, man. I don't think that we've seen the end of the CJ Hicks opportunities at Ohio State, right? His rep count's going to be low, but he's just going to have to start taking advantage of those. And if he does, James Laurinaitis has proven that he is going to reward you with reps with good play, or if you have good play. So
facts.
And I do need to go ahead and wrap this up, Mike. My family's just about to come home from church, so they'll be walking right in behind me. So
bless it, man. Well, we get Terry out here. Terry, let the people know where they can find you at.
Just Twitter at college football or CFB_stop. That's where I'm at, man. Putting content stuff out all the time on there. So catch me on there.
All right, Terry. We appreciate you. Take it easy, man.
All right, brother. I'm gonna hop out of here later.
All right, man. I'm about to hop in this chat. Let's see. CJ Hicks will be better in a defense that employs 3 linebackers. Maybe so. I think where CJ Hicks will be better is, and I've been saying this from day one, is running the 2022 defense with him. You need to go ahead and take some packages of that and just make it for CJ Hicks. When The linebackers didn't have to think. All they were doing was going full head of speed. That's when Tommy and Steele were their best, was in 2022. When they have to sit back and they have to read and react, they didn't look good, right? I think that if you want to maximize this kid, also build his confidence, just let him get in there and just go. We know that he's good at shedding blocks. I think he is. He's good at getting to the quarterback, getting to the ball. Let that guy do that. Stop trying to make him do things that just don't fit his skill set, I guess, until he's able to get better at that. That's where I think that they need to, get CJ Higgs better. Just let him just fly. All right. Okay. When we was talking about Oregon earlier, people talking about Evan Stewart. Yeah, Evan Stewart's a dude, man. I want to see if Dylan Gabriel can go ahead and push the ball down the field. That's what I'm going to be sitting back looking, And I done talk to everybody. Mike, what you going to be doing? Why y'all got a bye week? I get to be a fan this week. I love it. I'm about to be watching all of these games on all my little screens over here. I'm ready. What I want to see Oregon do is push the ball down the field, get the ball to Evan Stewart, get the ball to him downfield. Let's see him run a 9 route. Let's see him run a deep post. Let's see Dylan Gabriel actually be able to showcase his arm. You're not going up against Boise no more. You're not going up against Idaho State. You're going into a rivalry game. You can't play vanilla no more. You got to put all the chips out there on the table. So, Oregon, what are y'all going to look like? Is the offensive line getting healthy? Are they going to be good against Oregon State? I don't really know what Oregon State has. I didn't really look into them, but I know that Oregon Ducks need to do better because a lot of people lied to me about the Oregon Ducks and they lied to me about them trenches because that was my biggest thing about these Pac-12 teams coming in here. Are your trenches ready to sustain a Big Ten schedule with the Big Ten being known for trenches? So that was my biggest thing about Oregon, man. All right. Let's see what else we got in the chat. And we got my guy Johnny talking about all the Big Ten games are losable now with that offense. When he was talking about the team up north. You're right, Johnny. All the Big Ten games are losable now with that offense. And he said, yeah, we're done. I knew something wasn't right when Orgy didn't start. And that was the whole thing that a lot of people tried to tell a lot of your fan base, Johnny. We tried to tell a lot of people, why aren't they letting this guy throw the ball? If he's the future, why aren't they letting him throw the ball? And when games that you're up, why aren't they letting him throw the football? They obviously don't trust him. We seen this man go out there and try to do a basketball bounce pass in the middle of a game, bro. I ain't never seen nothing like that. So obviously he's not the Cam Newton 2.0 that we thought he was, or that they told us he was, because ain't nobody think that, really. Shout out to the real Team Up North fans who actually think logically, man. We appreciate them. What Doug said, have to give Johnny props for not going to hiding and being honest. Absolutely, man. Shout out to Johnny, always staying out there in the paint. We got Terry is a good one. Best Damn Media does have some cool dudes that are also knowledgeable. Posh, Terry getting love in here. Let's go. Terry and Mike are good people. Appreciate you, Dan. Hey, and with that, I want to let all y'all know we appreciate y'all. Make sure that you like and subscribe. Hit that like button, man. It helps us, gets us going in the algorithm. Make sure that you share with someone, man. And we are going to head out, man. And for my guy, Johnny, enjoy that right there.